Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For who is new, I'm Lucia and I provide personalized support to English speakers like you, whether it comes to purchasing a property, navigating bureaucracy, or settling into new life here in Italy. So today I wanted to introduce you to Rob and Marcella, who became proud homeowners right here in Praia and Mare. They will share their story, what brought them here to Italy, and how the buying process was like for them. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
It's complicated. We're from the United States. We have lived in Italy before. We lived in Japan. And now we're back in Italy for a second time. And we love it here.
And what inspired you guys to come to Italy and look at buying a property here in Praia Mare?
So there's various reasons. One of the reasons is that culturally I'm connected to Calabria with my family. I'm first generation Italian American, but otherwise there's also many opportunities in Italy as far as travel. It's centrally located in Europe. It's a great hub. The weather's amazing. The food is fantastic.
Absolutely, everybody loves Italian
yes.
food.
And
The
we
vino.
yeah, we
Yes,
really fell in
pizza.
love with it. So it's something that we can see ourselves in the future being long term here in Italy.
And what were your first thoughts when you were looking to buy a property into Italy?
Ooh,
How come you chose Italy? Why? What
Why?
inspired you?
well, culturally, I mean, we have family here. His family is in
Yeah,
mostly.
because Rob is Italian, right?
Italian.
His blood is
Right.
Italian.
So we have cousins and an aunt still in Torino. And then his father's family was from Calabria.
Oh.
And it's our second time, so we have friends. We've built memories here.
So you know the area
We know
already.
that, yeah.
That's
We're
cool.
comfortable. We feel really comfortable.
And we can navigate all the different trains, planes, automobiles, how it works driving in Italy.
What do you think about driving in Italy?
Crazy.
Depends on where you are.
Where you are.
Naples
Absolutely,
is not for the faint of heart.
Yes.
So you experienced Naples
Naples.
already?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Rome is a close second to Naples, but for the most part, driving's pretty easy. The signs are very clear, and the nice thing about Google Maps or iMaps is that you can get around anywhere you want. Without having to really know the area.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, absolutely. But plus here in Calabria, to go from one small town to another, it's absolutely important to have a car, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
You
definitely.
have transportation, you have buses that connect, and you have the train station, obviously. But having a car allows you to go into the towns,
Yeah,
and yes, up to the
absolutely.
hills and to discover more. It's more
It's
something
amazing.
personal, like, you know.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Rob, I know that you speak Italian, but did you have any concerns with the language or especially with the bureaucracy through the process of purchasing the house?
Well, absolutely. Though I have conversational Italian, which serves me well buying groceries or going to do normal business. But when it comes to real estate and the bureaucracy of real estate, you really need to have someone who understands the culture that you're dealing with at
Absolutely.
the present area,
Absolutely.
and then can also speak the technical terms where I lack. So that's where you came in, Lucia, is where you can bridge that gap. And that was very
Absolutely, because
important.
it's not only the language, it's understanding the culture, the law,
Yeah.
everything, and explaining it and handing it over to you in a comprehensive way, you know? Because it's different. Like you're from America, you have different laws, different procedures.
Yeah.
So when you come over, you think the same way how it would be in America. But yeah, things change. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And the other problem too is the intent in which you want to relay your thoughts. So even though conversationally you may be able to do that, but when it comes to dealing with agents or dealing with other bureaucracies in Italy, you have to be able to explain it in such a way that gets your point across without seeming to have miscommunication. That's where you came in.
Absolutely. A lot of Americans, usually or foreigners in general, that buy properties here, they're always like a little bit concerned. They don't know, oh, but do things go this way? Can I do this? Do I upset anyone? So that is where the culture steps in. You explain, look, this is how it works. This you can do, this you can't do. So yeah, it's giving advice besides the language and the mediation with realtors, with notaries, with whatever or
Exactly.
whoever
Yeah.
is involved. So, what have you considered really valuable through this whole process from finding the property till the final signing of the notary deed?
I can answer that one. So the documentation part of all of this is very important, and translating documents is extremely high up there when we're dealing with the entire time for bureaucracy. And when you're doing things like that, it's very important that it's done in a timely manner. And Lucia is very responsive. So as we
Yeah.
would send things in, these things would come back out. They'd be proofread, and usually within that same day or within a couple of days,
Yeah.
we were able to get our products back, which was extremely important, especially if you don't have a lot of time to do it. The other thing too is that she was able to bring a local team together because she is local. And if we're interested in a house, what we did or what we chose to do was, because I did speak Italian and I do read Italian, write it. I was able to contact agents myself. We were able to do our homework, tour the different properties, and when we found something we thought was good, so we're not wasting time, we would then contact Lucia, and Lucia would then represent us as far as dealing with the agent, getting our thoughts conveyed in a technical manner to the agent, and bridging that gap, which is really important. And then when we were at a point of, okay, let's have an architect look at it, though, make sure that everything was good to go.
Absolutely.
She brought in a team. She
Yes.
knew people to say, hey, I have an architect or I have a geometra. I know an electrician, or I know someone that could take a look at this and really give us confidence that the investment that we're about ready to make was a good investment.
Absolutely.
We're getting caught by surprise.
Every time you purchase a property, I always suggest an inspection, which gives you the idea, it gives me the idea of what all about the paperwork of the house, if it's in place, if there is anything related to jobs that need to be done before you purchase the house. So you have an idea and an estimate eventually of what else you need to invest beside the price of the property. Plus, absolutely, you had the capability and the possibility to contact agencies. You speak Italian, so you did that part by yourself, which is something that often is very difficult for foreigners abroad, because they start looking for properties usually on idealista.it, immobiliare.com, and they start the process a long time before, obviously. When they try to contact the agencies, because you can find all the listings of several agencies on these platforms, they try to contact them and often they complain, they don't get any reply. So I think this is principally the language gap. So I can help people also through that stage if they need help.
And one nice thing about all this, and we talked about bringing teams together, I do want to take a moment and thank Chris at Super Savvy Traveler. She was the one that actually introduced us.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
big shout out
Chris.
to those guys. And once again, it's important to formulate a team because once you purchase that property, those problems are yours. So
yes, now it's on
make
you.
sure those problems are on
Yes.
the seller for them to take care of ahead of time. That the cadastral plans, which are the original plans of the house, are not being what they call here in Italy abused. Illegal add-ons or modifications that could cause problems later on if you ever want to resell the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was really important to have those connections brought together.
Absolutely. And plus, like, the notary checks all the paperwork, checks the land registry, checks everything that is up to date with the revenue agency, if the mortgages or whatever. But the notary doesn't actually come on spot and check if the floor plans match with reality. So that is the part that you need to make sure about.
Right.
And that's where the architect, right,
Yes.
steps in and he checks, he physically goes on the property and checks, yes, it does match. There's nothing that has been done that is not related to the paperwork. So we call this small abuses. They can be fixed, But obviously, I want the buyers to be aware of the timing, how long it takes, because like they were purchasing a property and they really wanted to have it ready for summer. They wanted to have their summertime at the property. So if it would have taken a long time, obviously they wouldn't have been that much interested. Okay, was there anything that surprised you during the whole process? Something different of your culture, let's say?
Yeah, definitely. Being from the United States, I can say we get on the real estate websites and the houses are staged. We're used to these, most of the time, beautiful.
There's no staging in it.
Yeah, no, photos of these houses because people are trying to sell their home and how it looks. I cannot tell you between all the different websites, real estate websites, we would look and look and look. And it was a constant conversation like, oh my gosh, are they really taking a photo of their kitchen with the dishes out, or that they didn't move stuff off of certain areas? I mean, it was always like
beds unmade,
towels left out, like that. They do not really, very rarely do they stage anything.
Yeah, it's not the culture here, because at least in this area in South where we are, a lot of homes are vacation homes. So Italians come over like those 2 weeks in summer and they enjoy the property. But when they leave, they have all the outside tables, the whatever they have, they pull it back in the house, they shut everything, they strip the beds, and whatever is there. You can't move it. So it's something like they would say, we're not living here, so we won't set up the house for pictures. I need to sell the house. This is what it is.
Exactly.
So you go ahead.
So we kind of had to get used to that.
And so that point too is, in America, we had the luxury because we're here already and we had time to come down and look at various houses. We looked at a lot of houses personally. But if you're in the United States or anywhere in the world, first of all, buying property anywhere in the world has its pitfalls. It has its moments. But if you're just relying on the website pictures and you only have a limited amount of time to see, let's say, 5 or 6 houses, understand that number one, you have to have someone to help coordinate those real estate agents, because there's no such thing as multi-listing services.
Oh yeah, that's right. No
and you've heard that already. That's something new. If you're researching stuff, you already know that doesn't happen. So each individual website has their own agent.
Absolutely.
And you have to reach out to them. Emails don't work very well. It's usually a WhatsApp number.
You get used to WhatsApp.
Then what ends up happening is you have a limited time. So you're going to be here for 2 weeks in Italy. You want to see 10 houses. It's not that you might see one house one day, 2 houses the next day.
Yeah.
There might be 2 or 3 days where you can't see anything because their calendars don't line up. So it seems like a big waste of time. And then you realize that 90% of the pictures or houses that you saw on the website did not truly represent what they really were.
Yeah.
And that becomes a waste of time. So,
well, it's better or worse.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't know.
Better or worse.
You don't know.
But that's something that really surprised us. And that's why we went through so many houses. So really do your homework and don't really rely on the pictures on the website.
Yes, you absolutely need to be over here, to be organized before time, do your homework. And actually, it's not only like people ask, how's the lifestyle here? What about this town? What about that town? You actually need to be here.
You have to be here.
If you rent a property, like even for 2 weeks, and have a feeling, maybe a week in one place, if you really want to understand, if that town matches your requirements, and everybody has a lot of requirements, like about transportation, healthcare, how does it work, how's the community, are there expats with which I can get in contact with? Absolutely, there are a lot of foreigners here.
And you bring up a very good point.
Yeah.
It's services, and depending on what your lifestyle is, your age, your mobility, whether you're going to drive or not drive, just because you find a house in the middle of nowhere may not be the house, though it might be charming and great views. You have to drive to go everywhere, or that particular village or town doesn't have a hospital, or doesn't have a downtown that you can go and have a dinner out. So there's that balance. So to your point, if you really are interested in an area, go find a B&B, rent a property,
I would
go around,
for a couple weeks,
stay there, have
see,
the feeling, talk to the people, and get the real understanding. Yes, because everyone's different. What is a requirement for you could be something else for somebody else. You know,
Absolutely.
people that like maybe towns in the hills, which are very quiet and they enjoy the views and they're happy only with that. But other people would like services. I like go shopping, for example.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to renovate a house. So not all houses are ready to move in. I mean, even our house that we bought was basically move-in ready. We do want to make some upgrades and changes, which we will do over time. But one of those things that I was thinking about is, where am I going to buy furniture? How far away is it going to be? Remember, they don't deliver everywhere. And though Amazon delivers some stuff, it's not like in the United States. It may take several days or weeks to get some certain items, depending on what they are. Sometimes you get them the next day. It all depends. But all those things that once the honeymoon phase is over and you've moved in your house,
you sign the notary deed and you say,
I'm
done.
To the hardware store to get a screw. I got to drive 25 minutes to a hardware
another
store.
Stage that starts again. But it's exciting.
Because you are a homeowner after all, it becomes your home and you do have to maintain it and take care of it. And depending on what level you want to be involved in maintaining your home, those are things that you need to consider when you're buying a house.
Yeah. And how does life here, the lifestyle here in the Riviera dei Cedri, compare to what you were used to? I'll explain. Riviera dei Cedri is the whole coast, a certain part of the coast of Calabria going north in the province of Cosenza. It includes 22 little towns, some in the hills and plenty on the seaside. Cedri is the name that came from this citrus fruit. It's called cedro, which is produced here and exported everywhere in the world. And they do everything like pastry, they do pasta, they do jams, they do any kind of product from this fruit. It looks like a lemon kind of, but it's big and it's green. Plus it is a holy fruit for the Jewish that come over especially to buy the perfect size, which is very, very important for them. So let's go back to my question.
Thanks for explaining that. And I love, and I want to just say this too, people think of also the lemons that you find down here and all the different kind of citrus fruits. We're just like amazed. So we're so happy about that. But for us down here, it's peaceful. I don't know. I mean, as soon as we come.
Also the products, the food, all the vegetables, the fruits, they're all local produced. So the smell, the taste, the flavors, all different. The Mediterranean diet. Absolutely. Peperoncino in Diamante, where they have the festival of the peperoncino.
But more importantly too, is you still have that small town feel that you used to have in the United States, where you have the mom and pop stores. So you still have that. You don't have these big box stores. And for example, I go to my local hardware store, which is about 6 minutes from the house.
Yeah, you discovered some things here already that made you happy.
Fermented D&G.
Fermented D&G. So you go there, they're very nondescript. You get in there and they have everything. They have more stuff than a box store has.
Yeah,
there is nothing that they haven't had when I went down there. And they're very friendly. They know me. I know them. They greet me. I feel connected to the community.
Absolutely. That's what happens in small towns. Like they really welcome foreigners and they make you feel like you're at home. And they absolutely appreciate if you say the buongiorno and you try to say some words in Italian, they really appreciate it and they help you.
And there are, and for instance, some of the local stores like in Scalea, because they do deal with some tourism, mostly in the summertime, you do find people who do speak English. And we were at a local place.
Uneuro, I think.
Unieuro. Yeah, in Scalea.
We had a washer that we had ordered that was coming in today. And then while I was speaking in Italian, I also heard one of the clerks talking in English. So you do have people there that will strictly speak in English and so you don't have to be intimidated that, I have to know, I have to be perfect Italian. But it is, the more you use your Italian,
you must talk no matter what. If you make mistakes, it doesn't matter. You just go.
You're not, and that's the one thing too.
Launch yourself.
And we have two different Italys, and I want to talk about
absolutely.
This a little bit. We have Northern Italy and Southern Italy. I'm a child of both worlds. My mom was originally from Torino, Northern Italy, and my dad was originally from Calabria. By Catanzaro, which is the capital of Calabria. And so when I was a child, I used to visit both places. And they both have their positive negatives. The thing about northern Italy is that it's hard to break into that shell. Southern Italy, they're more accommodating, they're friendlier, they're more.
They invite you for coffee. They invite you for lunch, and the lunch never ends. It lasts like about 4 hours.
So they're a little warmer, and you tend to make friends easier in Southern Italy.
Yeah.
They're curious about you.
Absolutely,
they want to know where you're from, why you're here,
your story, what brought you here.
Yeah.
But in Northern Italy, it's a little bit more standoffish. Not that once you
because once you have friends, forget it.
That's
You're
great.
family.
So when you're looking at Tuscany, when you're looking at bigger cities like Rome and stuff, they
Milan especially, it's
Milan,
commercial. That's all work.
More closed. They tend to keep to themselves, so it's harder to really break in. But here in Southern Italy, it's a different story. It's about community. It's about family. Because you rely on each other. Going back to these different restaurants, for instance, one restaurant we want to shout out was Reginella. They're great.
Regina.
Regina is a.
No worries.
It was really on their website. It was almost like a heavy appetizer restaurant. But when you go in there, they start out with that, but they go all the way up to like some great steaks at a great price that they do on the grill, on a wood-fired grill. Absolutely. I know that Chella's posted a couple.
I mean, we've been impressed with all of the restaurants. We're kind of on this determined to
starting to try.
Exactly.
And so prices. What do you think about prices?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Nothing here.
There's
no
exactly.
No, it's there's no.
Especially if you're buying your fresh fruits or vegetables, which either at a grocery store or on a market, they'll have their market days depending on what village you're in or what town you decide to settle in. They'll have different market days. But I guarantee you, with 20 euros, you're coming out with 3 or 4 big bags of groceries and vegetables. They're fresh, they're locally grown, and that's very important to us. And especially in this region, we're on the edge of a national park.
Absolutely, we have a huge national park called Parco del Pollino, where you can go hiking, you can go for walks, you can go. There are
so we have the sea in front of us and these amazing mountains
behind
us. We have both. It's just amazing.
And by doing that, there's still a lot of farmland here, and so they're all growing everything local, and that's really important to us as well.
Yeah. And lastly, you have to get the nice thing about Italian lifestyle. It makes you slow down.
Absolutely.
Because you have to know that shops will close at maybe 12 or 1 o'clock, and they don't open again till 4 or 5. And sometimes they're only open a few days a week. So, as an American, when you first come over, we're so used to go.
Yeah, and eat very quickly and go to work. Work.
You're used to like a 24-hour Walmart.
Yeah.
You can go in at 1 o'clock in the morning. But what it does make you do is to really appreciate the downtime. And gives you a good work-life balance.
Enjoy life.
And that's what we were looking. That's what we were lacking back in the States too. Is that work-life balance? You felt like you were always on. There was never a pause button. Or I'm not saying you have to shut yourself off, but you need to learn how to pause, enjoy, take your lunch when you can.
Here they pause.
Absolutely. They pause. Yes,
they do. They make you take your lunch.
If you don't pause, they will tell you, pause, enjoy, have lunch.
Exactly. It's very important.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, would you recommend this experience to somebody else?
Well, I would recommend it if I had a guide like you. I would not recommend it if you try to do it by yourself.
Oh my gosh, no.
It would be, not that it's impossible. People do it. But I think there would have been a lot of regrets at the end of the day if we didn't have someone like you doing our translation, guiding us along the way, connecting us to various professionals. Even the different packages that you offered.
Very personalized. It depends on what people need, and everybody has a different personal situation.
Right.
So it
like
depends.
I felt because we work like 2 hours from here, so we couldn't always be here for certain things, but I felt very comfortable. I felt very confident, like, you were very responsive, and
you had her back.
You had her back. Oh my gosh, you had her back.
That's the biggest thing.
I really care because when I do things, it's as if I did it for myself. So that is how I work, and I want people. The best reward for me is when my clients are happy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and we felt we knew we never had to question. Like, we knew that whatever needed to be done in this process, Lucia had her back the whole way, and she would be here.
And you explained the process too. It wasn't a surprise for us.
Yeah.
So, hey, today we're going to be doing this, and we should expect the next week to be doing this, so on and so forth. And then right up to when we signed the papers, which, like, no matter where you're at, like I said before, if you're signing papers for a property, it's stressful, it's exciting.
It's a big decision in life, right?
And you're signing your name on the dotted line.
Yeah.
And so the day that we signed, which was April 22nd, which was awesome, it was one of those things where we knew what we were going to do prior to showing up. It wasn't this surprise, like, oh, what do we do next? So we knew what the program was going to be. We were prepared for it. We knew it was going to be a couple hours of signing paperwork and going back and forth. And then once we did that paperwork, we knew that it was done correctly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the important
You felt
thing.
released.
Yeah, I felt released.
Yes, me too.
You felt happy.
I was released.
And that we came to a great conclusion.
Yes.
And that's what's important, is to come to a happy ending for everybody. And so that's why I really have to thank you and your service.
You're so welcome. Amazing. I thank you for coming and using and trusting my services. Absolutely. Yeah. And then explain another thing that I was thinking now. When signing, especially when Americans or foreigners buy that don't speak the language, when you go to sign a notary deed, obviously you need a special power of attorney. Yes. In Italy, we don't use the general power of attorney. It's always specifically for what you're signing for. So if you need a codice fiscale and you're not here, we can do it in remote. And I could be your power of attorney, but specifically for requesting the codice fiscale at the revenue agency. If you need to sign for a property, I would have a power of attorney specifically for signing the purchase of a property. So this is how it works in Italy. So anyone that needs to sign, if they don't speak the Italian language, they need a power of attorney.
And that's per law.
Yes, per law.
The notary, if the notary feels, because the notary is not like the notary in the United States, where they just put a seal down.
Yeah, it's very
They're
different.
actually a state representative. They're a government employee of the state. And if they feel that the buyers do not understand what they're signing, the deal is over.
Yeah. Yes, it's very important.
So it's important to have a special power of attorney. Even it doesn't matter, because for us, the property is both our names, not just my name. So even though I understood what was being said, Cella may not have understood. So it was important to have Lucia there as that representative, that special power of attorney, so that she could explain exactly what's being said.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why the process took a little bit longer, because we had
translating also by written the paper.
Yeah, so
always
we're
do
signing the
translating of the drafts like before, so you're aware if you have any questions or anything you need to understand. But that is how I work. That's what I think is better.
And for those who don't know what a codice fiscale is, it's, think of a social security number for the Italian social security number. You cannot sign documents without one.
No.
So that's an important step. So that's another service that Lucia can offer, is getting that special power of attorney, and that can be done remotely. So you don't have to be here in the United States.
If you are here, it's fine, because we go together. I'll take you, and we can do it in one day.
But that's important to have set up ahead of time, because if you're coming over to sign papers and stuff, that's not one of the processes you want to.
You know what else was important, which was another package you had, which was so helpful for us, is just getting us registered with the different utility companies, the gas company, and all these different companies, because we couldn't be here for all of that. To help, and also because she understands the process of what needs to happen, and she would explain to her, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is the fees, and
she knows where to go. I don't have to sit there and try to figure it out on the Italian website where they're going, what times they. Just because it says they're open at 9 o'clock in the morning on their website doesn't mean they're open at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Because
in reality, you need to go there and check the time.
Because when they say Italian bureaucracy, they mean it.
So I think we got to the end today, and thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to Marcella and Rob for sharing your story. So if you would like to get in contact with me and get some help through your personal process, you can please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up. You have all the information in the description, my website, my email, so contact me, and see you in the next video. Bye.
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 Ciao for now.